From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus checks of 2022, which have landed, and those MSC checks from third stimulus, which have landed. We'll go over the latest breaking news that you need to know about where they are and how to get them in this big recording from the shores of Santa Monica, California. But first, we're going to start with the Build Back Better Act, which is going to the finish line. Huge developing details on that front today. Then we'll be recapping CR for stimulus and another round from Joe Biden, breaking news on that today. Then we'll be looking at that SS300 and what Jay Powell said, your Fed head, overnight. Confusing? I'll clarify it. It all involves your inflation and your interest rates. Then we'll be looking at those four stimulus checks have landed. Members of this channel have gotten those four stimulus checks, and we'll go over how you can get those incredible checks across the board. We'll be looking at the fourth stimulus checks and also those MSC third stimulus checks, which have landed as well. I'm going to show you how to get them, and you need them in view of the potential recession looming. But with a recession around the corner caused by Putin, that's teeing up the next stimulus package of checks, sixth stimulus. And the president overseas today, meeting with the leadership of France and Germany and the Western allies in Brussels to formulate the sixth stimulus package, the one caused by Putin to solve oil, wheat, grain, commodities, also banking and economic uncertainty caused by Putin. All the latest details on that, but first we're going to go over the big exciting details of Build Back Better Act, what you need to know, CR for stimulus SS300, and those MSC checks of third stimulus which have landed. I'll show you how to get them. And those four stimulus checks have landed as well. Joe has sent them out. That's Joe Biden. We know each other first name now. Hey, Ellen, how you doing? Good. How's Delaware? Great. Wonderful. Santa Monica, always the same. So we're going to go over those big third stimulus checks that have landed, fourth stimulus checks that have landed, MSCs from third, fourth, big checks upwards of $80,000. I'll go over all those incredible sums of money, and then sixth stimulus coming on the horizon, SS300, and more checks. That's just a preview for today's video. The excitement starts from Santa Monica, California, as Afternoons LA starts right now. And good afternoon, everybody. Congratulations. Those third stimulus MSC checks have landed, and do not waiver them. They're non-waivable checks. They're monthly checks. We'll go over the latest details you need to know about them, and then we'll be looking at those four stimulus checks that have landed, $15,000 to $80,000. Don't waiver those, because those will not wave back at you. They'll go right to the bank and be deposited. Then we go over the incredible great news of SS300. Good, well, we'll see what's going on with that. And CR for stimulus. 1, 2, and then 6 stimulus caused by Putin. These stimulus packages don't go one after another, they overlap. And we're going to go over why Joe Biden is in Brussels. Preview, it's for 6 stimulus. We'll go over the latest details of that. But first, let's start with the Build Back Better Act, the fourth stimulus recon. It's not a law yet, and yes, it is the meat and potatoes of fourth stimulus. It has 3 classes of checks and 3 add-ons. In prime time tonight, at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we will go over all these checks. Tune in to America's most watched show in prime time. It's Evenings LA at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and that is the news you do not want to miss. There will be a lot of breaking news by tonight's recording, because then we'll be on international time with Brussels and the president overseas. But let's get a preview of tonight's recording. Those fourth stimulus checks of Build Back Better pay about $15,000 to $80,000. The number may seem duplicative because something I have for you later in this video has the same calculation, $15,000 to $80,000. It's 3 classes and 3 add-ons in that Build Back Better Act, fourth stimulus recon, not law, currently sitting in the Senate. Hazard pay got in there. $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of care for young children. Money for the children, $3,600. The CTC continued one more year. And then the Pell Grant, $550 checks for my college student. $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. and nutrition. That is the first of three clusters in the Build Back Better Act. The first add-on comes from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Maxine Waters got this incredible provision in there, a little bit less than $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Wow, that is huge. Got it in there. And that is money that will be given to the seller in your name. How to get these big checks? Tune in tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for America's most watched show in prime time on financial news. It's Evenings LALATE. That's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll go over each of these checks in detail to show you how to get them. Now, let's turn to the second cluster of checks, home repairs, to weatherize your home and paid leave. That could be upwards of $4,000 to $6,000 a year, W-2, 1099, or even if you don't work, but your children work in there in the household, they could get the check. Then let's look at the huge second add-on of checks. That second add-on of checks gives us even more money. What's at issue? In that second add-on of checks, we have $250 billion of free home health care. Yes, free home health care for my seniors and people on disabilities. Incredible. That third cluster of checks, more deliciousness. Seniors and free internet for all. Farmers checks, independent contractors checks. And then the incredible add-ons, the incredible provisions for seniors. No less than about 4 to 5. Dental checks, vision checks, hearing checks. Medicaid gap fix will provide a workaround plan for uninsured people in 12 Republican holdout states. And then, of course, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55, which is par for the course when we're talking about the Senate, because the Senate would also vow, as they've indicated to viewership of this channel, to add in, yes, an MSC. Now, we are still on Build Back Better for stimulus recon. These are fourth stimulus MSCs. Fourth stimulus MSCs. Later in this video, I'm going to show you how viewers have now gotten this week third stimulus MSCs. So these are different. Let's continue with where we are at the moment. Fourth stimulus MSCs, Build Back Better. Who would get it? The eligibility would be the same as a third. Says the leadership of the Senate to the viewership of this channel. So, if you got a third, you would get a fourth. Single individual, $75,000 less, $150,000 less, married couple. And you double it if you're a married couple, family of 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, you get it as well. Now, how many checks are they representing? They're representing $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months. More about how to get these huge checks of the fourth stimulus recon MSC in prime time on Evenings LA tonight. But let's continue to what has also happened. Fourth stimulus recon, not law, in the Senate, but out of nowhere, 3 weeks ago, last Friday, the President of the United States announced a huge shocker. And that huge shocker was the rollout of a fourth stimulus add-on that he did without Congress. And yes, it's $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. This is a fourth stimulus add-on, so let's slow it down so you follow what I'm saying. Fourth stimulus Build Back Better, which we just went over, is a bill. It's not law yet. That monstrosity with those clusters is a bill, not law yet. What Joe Biden did 3 Fridays ago is he, by his inherent authority, set this out, and it became a law. It's called a fourth stimulus add-on. It's called the homeowners grant, $15,000 to $80,000. And how do you get it? Become a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. I'm going over it later in this recording. But the huge news is that this fourth stimulus add-on has sent out checks. Fourth stimulus checks have landed, and the membership of this channel have gotten it. So fourth stimulus checks from this add-on, which is law, have been paid out. And they're $15,000 to $80,000. Yeah, there's that number again, $15,000 to $80,000. It's huge. How do you get these $15,000 to $80,000 of fourth stimulus checks? It's coming up in just a second. How do you get those third stimulus MSC checks? They're coming up in just a second in this video. Now let's continue where we were. CR for stimulus 1, 2, 3, and 4.0. Great questions I got overnight about them. I love them, so I'm going to answer them right now. So the original CR for stimulus 1.0 passed 3 weeks ago, approximately 3 weeks ago. And it did not have a $2,000 stimulus check. They did repurpose the $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds, but they did not put a federal stimulus check in there. They put county stimulus in there. So reach out to your local county or your county news. It's in a lot of the county newspapers. I can't feature county stimulus on the channel. I never featured it locally because it's too many counties and too many states. But Joe Biden is back with another round. Why another round? Because He wanted money for COVID. He did not get it in there. And without the money for COVID, he was not happy. Well, let me tell you what. He was right. Because the subvariant to Omicron, which is confirmed in the United States, is the subject of a series of reports. First, it's causing a lockdown in China. It's very serious. Second, a new report released minutes ago says it could cause rampant problems in Europe before it comes to the United States in bigger magnitude. So he was right. It's a major problem, and that is why we're talking about 4 shots. I'm about to get my 4th shot, which is the second booster. So he wanted more money. What's the takeaway from this? He's coming back with another social spending bill to get that money for in there. There's a potential always to get a stimulus check in there. So we will watch when he does it. One of his press teams tested positive for the second time, even being vaccinated for COVID overnight. So that details as well. So let's go now into SS300. SS300 is the opportunity to raise your benefits up at $200 to $300 a month lifetime. How does it work? It started from Joe Biden during his campaign for president and then his platform at joebiden.com representing that he's going to swap out COLA for inflation, which would then give you a higher benchmark. What's a benchmark? Every December, they reassess your benefits based upon that benchmark. And that benchmark has been COLA. It doesn't move. But inflation is at its highest price point of a generation, 8% in the month of December, 8% in January. Guess who predicted it? I did. I predicted it all last year, and I said Jay Powell's wrong. He was wrong. He said 1% to 2% temporary transitory with that fancy word, which I absolutely despised. Transitory. I don't like that word. It doesn't sound like anything. So I said it was not going to be temporary. It's going to be here for a few months. Well, I was right. It did not come for just 1 week or 1 month. It stayed around, and it's still staying around. In fact, the bond traders, over the last 7 days, the U.S. bond traders now believe that inflation may actually be higher. That's why they've been trading up the 10-year Treasury note every single day. It was 1.8% about a week ago. They're heading to 2.2. What does this mean for you? Joe needs to swap that COLA from inflation now when it's high. Because when you swap COLA for inflation at its highest price point, you lock in that highest price point. At 8% inflation, you lock in $200 more per month. Not just this month, not just this year, but a lifetime. It's absolutely incredible. So that's why you want Joe Biden to make the swap now. But what's at issue? You don't want him to wait. How long can he wait? Well, the analysis has changed on this channel. I originally said I get a little bit skittish by late April. I think we get in trouble because inflation may come down then. Why? More about that in a second. But now I'm reassessing. I think that we're fine through late April. I'll tell you why. Let's go over the details. The reason why inflation is coming down is because it has to come down and because there's a certain guy that's doing it. His name is Jay Powell. He's head of the Federal Reserve. His job is to bring down inflation because prolonged high inflation is not good for an economy, but there's certain different ways to approach it. And here's what you need to know. Hard landing versus soft landing. Hard landing means smack inflation really badly, hard like a hammer. And soft inflation is like caress it to get it slower. He caressed it this month, as he promised last month he would do. He has 2 options. Half basis point, which is also called 25 basis point, or, excuse me, I just said that wrong again. Quarter basis point, which is also called 25 basis point, or half, which is called 50. Yeah, it's sort of obvious. Sorry about that, Mitch. It's like looking at a lobster saying, I love your crabs. Oh, did I just say that? I just said that. Crabs look like lobsters. Just a disclaimer. Okay. Anyway, so Jay Powell's job is to bring down inflation. And his job to bring down inflation is by raising interest rates. Now, you don't want him to raise the interest rates too fast, too quickly. And that is what he didn't do. Well, last week. And then right after last week, which was yesterday, he said, you know what, maybe I came in a little too weak. Oh, Lord, let me tell you why. He has these Fed governors who are underneath him, like Wallace. His name is Wallace, and the other one's name is Boulard. And they said, we're too weak. I think we need to do multiple months of 50 basis point, half basis point. Are you breathing heavy now? Yeah, you should start right about now, because this is where you start to worry. Inflation may fall dramatically in the month of May if that is this case. So I think we're fine now for March for Joe to swap the colored inflation. I think we're good for early April, and I think now we're good for late April. About early May, then I get skittish. And guess what? I'm not alone. Wall Street analysts don't really know what's going to happen by May. So that's prong 1. I think we're fine for the $200 right now if Joe makes a swap. I'm a little bit worried about the end of the year. Why? Because we had always been told by Jay Powell he's going to reduce inflation to about 4% by the end of the year. 4% is about $100 more for your benefits. So that's SS300. Great. Yeah. Until Jay Powell spoke on Wednesday. He said, I'm going to try to get inflation down to 1.9%. No, Jay. So that would only be about $20, $30, or $40 more per month for your benefits. Now, here's my takeaway. And it's not only my takeaway, it's also Wall Street's takeaway. They do not believe that Jay Powell has the tools to do this. I agree. They think that Jay Powell is using sort of like the bully pulpit. He's just sort of, talking it into existence. If you say it, it will happen. That sort of notion. And I agree with him. I don't think he has the tools to do this. I don't think he has the tools to reduce inflation like that. And certainly I don't think he can get to 1%, first of all. Second of all, I don't think he can get it down as quickly as he hopes. And third, I think inflation is not as he thinks it is. I think inflation is being caused by China and Russia with supply chain issues, which he has no control over. And he's the Fed. He's the head of the Fed. He has no control over it. Doing things with interest rates ain't going to cut it. So if that's the case, that's good news for you, because remember, then if they make that swap for COLA for inflation in early May, we may still be at 7% inflation. We may not be at a 5 or a 5.5. All good across the board. Now, really great is that viewership of this channel has now gotten MSCs from third stimulus. Incredible. Third stimulus MSC checks have gone out, and I first detailed it, I think it was about 2 days ago. Today, of course, is March 23rd, 2022. So I think I first detailed about March 20th, first day of Easter, first day of spring. And as the birds and the bees came out and the flowers started to bloom, so came those MSC checks. I'm going to show you how to get them in the second half of this video. It's absolutely incredible. Again, this is third, not fourth, third MSC checks, and they're not IRS MSC checks. They're just monthly stimulus checks. Then we're going to look at the incredible 4 stimulus checks have also landed. When I mean landed, in people's bank account, not going out, coming on the horizon. This is meaning in their bank account. They've already cashed the checks, and they are now having delicious bacon and rubbing it in my face. I'm going to go over those incredible 4 stimulus checks in the second half of this video. Then we'll be looking at 6 stimulus. Yes. If you're new to this channel, stimulus packages happen at the same time. That's why we have third and fourth right in this recording. Also in this recording, 6, because the President of the United States is going and landing in Brussels today, and will be there tomorrow, and then to Poland on Friday. It's all about your 6 stimulus package. I'll explain to you what will happen, what will be said and what will not be said, and what is 6 stimulus package. Then I have a personal commentary for you at the end of this video. Do not miss it, because it's about checks. It's coming up at the very end of this video. Stay with me. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as a Big Afternoons broadcast continues. And we also have in the second half a preview of tonight's evening's LALATE. It's a huge show tonight, folks, because guess what? That Brussels meeting is very, very important for your 6 stimulus package. So I will have the details of that in full form tonight, because this will be the biggest stimulus package you've seen in the history of this channel. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as a broadcast, big broadcast of Afternoons LA continues from the shores of Santa Monica, California today. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then Afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica. on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now from the shores of Santa Monica, California, in a big second half of afternoon's LALATE. Yes, those third stimulus MSC checks have landed. I'll go over the latest details on that. Then we'll be looking at those fourth stimulus checks that have landed as well. We'll be looking at sixth stimulus heating up today, tomorrow, as the President of the United States is in Brussels, meeting with those world leaders to talk about this Putin-caused stimulus and prevent a recession. All the latest details of that in the big second half. Then we'll be looking at all the prongs of that sixth stimulus package and why you need to know that. And then in the final 5 minutes of this video, I have a big personal commentary. You do not want to miss it. It goes over more checks and what you need to know. It's a big afternoon to LA, and we go over all those huge details starting right now in the big second half. When you look at the landscape of where we are right now, we got renters and we got homeowners. Renters and homeowners. In the second half, I got checks for all of you. So let's go over one of them at a time. Now, first, we're going to start with my homeowners. Those four stimulus checks have landed for you. So let's go over the details. The President of the United States, 3 Fridays ago, announced a huge program. It was not covered in broadcast media, print media, or cable news, so you're not going to see it anywhere except here. And it'll be featured more in prime time tonight on Eating LA. It's called the Homeowners Grant. That is the shortened name on this channel, but the longer name is released for members in the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. The big money is $15,000 to $80,000, and the eligibility is huge because the same as a third stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans, you can get it as well. What do you have to do? First, you want to become a member. The link's at the top of the channel and under the pinned comment. Become a member. Second, grab that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sent via the YouTube alert system and it's sent to you as a member via the YouTube alert system Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Open the newsletter. In the newsletter, you'll first see the price of wheat, grain, oil, and also gasoline at the pump. And then right below it, it has the full name of the program. It's longer than the Homeowners Grant. Then it has the eligibility for the income we just went over. It goes over the items it pays for. And yes, it pays for things like home repairs, but more than that, yes, incredible items. Some of the items for homeowners I've never had payment items for. It is nationwide. It is in every single state. More about that in a second. And then it has the link. The link will send you right into the online application for the federal that then sends you to your state and you apply. Now, let's go over the details. It was live starting 3 weeks ago, announced by the president on Friday and went live the following Monday, immediately featured in the membership newsletter for members that Friday. We're approaching the fourth week this Friday. So understand, it has been around now for 4 weeks. Every day, hundreds, thousands of people in your state get in front of you. So ultimately, states may eventually run out of funds. I've heard, but I cannot confirm, that in the state of New York, they have now received too many applications in the first 3 weeks that they're now at waiting list mode. But otherwise, the states are open. So you want to go into that link, click the link, go right in and apply. $15,000 to $80,000. Viewers of this channel have applied. They've gotten paid. Or they've gotten a statement that says your applications are complete. Wait for the funds. They're arriving. Viewers like Mark have gotten $66,000. And understand, if you gotten money before for this channel, you can get these sums of money as well. Remember, Mark was the viewer that got $100,000 from this channel before from the items of third stimulus. So yes, you can come back around and get more of this money across the board. How do you do this? Become a member. The link is at the top of the channel in the pinned comment. Get that membership newsletter. Remember, it's a membership newsletter delivered only to paid members Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system. That's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Open it up and go right in there and apply. And congratulations to the incredible viewers of this channel who have gotten their monies in their pocket or have it en route to their bank account at the time of this recording. Huge congratulations to you. Now, let's turn to the rest of you, which is either renters or also the homeowners. Yeah, I got money for you again. So you're either a renter or a homeowner. Well, I got money for both of you in this second part, and it's called Third Stimulus MSCs. Yes, now we're going back a step to third third stimulus MSC monthly stimulus checks have landed. Now remember, we're talking about third, we're not talking about fourth. And we're not talking about Build Back Better, we're talking about third, the one that became a law last year. We're also talking about MSCs that are just monthly stimulus checks. They're not sent out by IRS. Now let me take it down a notch. Let me slow this down for you. These are huge payments. These are bigger payments than anything Congress has ever promised us. The most that Congress has ever promised us in recent months has been 6 months of checks at about $1,000 a month. Well, what are the members of this channel getting? They are getting on average 12 months of $2,000 a month. It's absolutely incredible. Many viewers of this channel are getting 3 years of checks at that amount. Some viewers are getting 8, 10 months of checks at larger amounts. It's astronomically incredible. Now let's focus right here. There is no application online where you push a button and you get sent 30,000 years of checks. It's not like that. And so somewhere along the line, people have heard the word application. No, that's fourth stimulus. We're on to the third stimulus, MSC checks. This involves a pen, a piece of paper, and your phone. Let's go over all the incredible details of this. This involves picking up the phone and getting the money from your city, your county, your state, or the nonprofits. And how do you do it? It's all, again, featured in the membership newsletter. In the membership newsletter, I feature how to get this big sum of money. If you're new to this channel, let me take it back. In December 2020, there wasn't a lot of money for this out there. We didn't even have a law for it. But I found the money, and it slowly meandered across the United States in different states. And then I had the nonprofits, 5 of them, that often picked up for these monies when your city or county didn't have it. When third stimulus became law in spring of 2021, my viewers were ready. Why? Because I had a preview of the legislation before they announced it. Yes, I had exclusive of what was going to be the third stimulus package. So I trained my viewers on how to get it. When it became a law, they pounced. The average viewer of this channel got $45,000 of it. But here's what happened. Every time I record, my viewers take this and do 20,000% bigger. I immediately said that you can get about $15,000 for third stimulus. Well, they got on average $45,000. Then I said do a round, referring to 3 to 4 months of rent. Spring 2021, another 3 to 4 months last summer, then 3 to 4 months last Christmas. We call it Christmas stimulus. And then just 2 weeks ago, I was saying do another 3 to 4 months. My viewer said, no, I'm going to do monthly stimulus checks for 12 months. I'm not going to do 3 months. I'm going to do 12 months. How about I'll do 3 years? And the success stories have come on in. So let's go over the success stories. Linda Ramirez is getting 12 months of $1,500 a month. It'll come in 2 checks. Her first is $1,000 a month for her rent, and her other check is $500 a month for her utilities. That's 1 year of $1,500. Huge. Great achievement by Lindsay Ramirez. Olivia Summers has gotten 48 months. Incredible. 48 months of $150,000 of MSC checks. It's absolutely incredible. Yes, you heard me right. David Allen got 9 months of $1,500. We have Mr. Bean, who got 9 months of rent, electric, and water amounting to $16,000. And then Annabelle got 6 months. We have Michelle Mosi, who got 4 months. The success stories keep on coming in. Johnny Horvath got $26,000 over multiple months, which I think is about 8, if I calculate it right. We have Brian Graves, who's in Toledo, Ohio. He got 8 months. We have Simba, who got $6,000. So that looks like it's probably about 6 months. We have Melly Pin, who got about 10,000. So that looks like it's about 8, 9 months there. We have David Allen, who got $10,000. So that looks like it's about 9 months. And the success stories keep on coming in. We had Brian Donahue. Oh, I just flipped the page wrong. And Brian Donahue, who I think he was the guy who got 12 months. And then we had another person who got 9 months the same day as Brian. Just incredible success stories. How do you get this money? We've seen the success. Now it's time for you. You're going to get your pen, your paper, and follow along. But if you're a member, it's easier. It's all in the membership newsletter. You're going to reach out to, if you're not a member, to 6 places. If you're a member, you're going to reach out to about 15 places because the membership newsletter has more places to reach out to. So let's go over that incredible details right now. What's important to understand is that this is huge, and it's for any renter. I want to remind you, you do not have to be on. You do not have to be behind on your bills. Number one, it's available nationwide. Number two, number three, the nonprofits pick up the slack when you have problems finding it from any of the first 6 places. Number four, you should like the word no. So if someone tells you no, that means keep on pushing. I've had countless viewers who've gotten 80,000 to 150,000 because they kept on calling and they had about a 50% rejection rate. Do you hear that word, rejection? Rejection is fine. Rejection is fine because ultimately what will happen is that there will be 50% acceptance. That is why you want to keep on pushing across the board. Okay, here we go. You're going to reach out to 6 places: your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. It's 3 things you must do. You must reach out to all 6 places. Let's pause right there. That's what I just said. With people who are watching right now, it starts with 6 places. So if you reach out to 1 and get a no and stop, no, that's not how you do it. You reach out to at least 6 places. If you're a member, you want to reach out to more because guess what? The membership has in there those incredible nonprofits. Do you want to do multiple rounds? Well, maybe you don't need to because now the MSC checks are landing. What's important to understand is that you've opened that membership newsletter, you'll see in there all those nonprofits that you should lean on because there's 5 more that'll bring you to about 11 plus 12, 13 places to reach out to. And yes, you want to reach out to all of them. So someone yesterday said, what about Louisiana? I remember Louisiana. I had problems locally with that back in 2020, and we went to the State Housing Authority. Then when we ran out of money there, then we leaned on the nonprofits. So absolutely, I know where the problem states are, but some states have improved over time. That was 2020. Get that big money right now. It's about $45,000. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of the incredible viewership of this channel. You can do it. Get these incredible sums of money across the board. Do it right now. Do not wait. It is the big 3rd stimulus MSC checks. What you saw in that segment right there is that the 3rd stimulus MSC checks is not a single application. You need to make phone calls and you will get rejections, and rejections are fine. 50% rejection is the general situation that ultimately you'll get big sums of money. And yes, you're not going to get 6 months of checks like 4th stimulus. This is 3rd stimulus MSC. You're likely to get much more than that. Now, let's turn to 6th stimulus and then my big review of more checks in the second half of this video. Let's turn to 6th stimulus, which is heating up today as the President of the United States lands in Brussels to meet with the foreign allies to discuss who else? Yeah, that guy, Vladimir Putin. What is 6th stimulus? Let's clarify what we're doing right here. So when you are new to this channel, you may get confused. Why are there so many stimulus packages at the same time? Because they are passed at different times. You just saw Build Back Better Act, not law. 4th stimulus add-on is law. 3rd stimulus, MSC checks, is law. The other 3rd stimulus, also law. Then the 5th stimulus for seniors, not law, not even a bill yet. Then, what about that CR? Yeah, the last one passed. The new CR, that could be coming in the next few days. SS300 could be coming in the next few weeks. And then 6th stimulus, likely coming next month. Why? Because it's led by the progressive leadership of France, Germany, and the United States. The key date is early April. Why? Because France's prime minister, France's president, I should say, France's president, Emmanuel Macron, that's my greatest French accent, the best I can do, will be up for re-election in April. And he is part of the trifecta progressiveness between the United States, Germany's chancellor, and also France's president. And if he's reelected, this is going to happen. So let me explain to you what this Brussels meeting will look like to you from the outside and what it won't look like. The Brussels meeting is a meeting of a lot of different groups, and this is where it gets confusing. It's not just this trifecta. I'm focusing on the trifecta. Your 6th stimulus comes from the trifecta. France, Germany, and the United States. If they add another country in there like England, which I think they would, that makes sense. But are you going to see Hungary in this group? No. Is Hungary going to be talking all this week? They will. And what are they going to say? We love Russian products and we're not getting off of them. How do I know that? Because they already said that. So they've already said, Hungary, we're vetoing anything you do. Does Hungary have anything to do with your stimulus? No. So that's why I'm clarifying this for you. Also, I want to clarify. They're not going to say, "Hi, I'm Joe Biden. Here's your six stimulus package." It doesn't translate well. So they don't use the same language as the kid with the surfboard on his head. They're just sort of different over there. So understand they're not going to say, "Hi, are we doing MSCs in the six stimulus package?" What is MSC? It's an American acronym. Does it stand for cappuccino? No, Sir Lloyd. I knew Sir Lloyd. He visited. He used to visit. Was it France? I think it's Spain. I can't remember which country he visited. We ate the grass. Yeah, we remember that show. So they do. These things do not translate. So the president's meeting with NATO allies, and they're talking about this. No, he's meeting with G7 leaders. Yes. Is he meeting with European Union leaders? Yes. But remember, European Union is not us. We're not part of the European Union. So that is where the Hungary part of the equation is going to come in. Unless he gets hungry elsewhere in the trip. Yeah, I know that's awful. So let's go over the details. The details is that they need to do this for a series of reasons. Oil, commodities, the banks, Putin, and also anything that is economically unknown at the moment. Why? If they don't, we go into recession. It's very simple. Here's the problem. We've been doing this now. This war, not our war, but their war, watching its economic impact on us for now, 4 weeks? And we only have a few more weeks left of this until we go into a potential recession for 2 years. Yeah, I've been telling you for a while that if the problems at hand that are around us economically, like wheat, oil, grains, and commodities, and banking uncertainty, are not resolved by early May, we had a recession for 2 years. They all know this. They all know this. And that is why this big pivot. It started with Anthony Blinken, your Secretary of State, no less than 3 weeks ago, who met with those world leaders, Germany and France, and get off of Russian products. But they said, we don't have anything lined up to replace it. He said, morally, you must get off. And they said, you're right. I'll morally get off. But they still don't have something relying to fall back on. And so the concept is very simple. Debt spend, raise national debts domestically in Germany, France, and the United States, and then send stimulus out to the citizens. Very simple concept. Why? Because you can't afford an average of $6 a pump in Los Angeles indefinitely through past May. You can't. You'll go into recession. Guess what? Bread in the supermarket, have you seen it? Yeah. You can't afford $5 a loaf of bread for the next 2 years. You can't. You'll go into recession. So that is why they're saying, you know what? People can afford to live like this. Their salaries have not gone up fast enough. So that is why there's six stimulus package. Let's go over the prongs of six stimulus package and whether they're getting solved or not solved. First, wheat and grain and soybeans and corn. No, they're not getting solved. Why is this a major issue? Because of Odessa. Odessa is the crown jewel of the Black Sea. It's also part of Ukraine, but it also is the target of Vladimir Putin. He's been circling it, and he's trying to come into that town today. Because he is, for obvious reasons, over the last 3 weeks, he's been trying to get Odessa. The individuals who farm in Odessa have not been able to farm. Here's the beautiful opera house of Odessa. And because they can't farm, they can't send out wheat. And because they can't send out wheat, guess what happens? This is what happens. Yes, we have farmers in the United States. Yes, we produce wheat. But the way commodities works is there's a shortage internationally of any commodity like wheat, then the prices go up. We can't wrap up enough production domestically among our farmers to offset the shortage caused by Ukraine and Russia's war. So that's sending us into a potential recession because no one can pay these prices of wheat and grain indefinitely. In the case of some countries like Egypt, 80% of their wheat is from Ukraine. It's very bad. It's very, very bad. Now let's turn to Germany. Germany is wholly dependent upon Russia for oil. In fact, it has a dedicated pipeline to get oil from Russia. And Vladimir Putin says, push me too long, push me too hard. I'm turning off the pipe. You'll get no gasoline. So that is why the White House got a major deal done last Friday. I'll feature more tonight on that Eden's LA primetime show. That deal got Russian oil replaced with Iranian oil by getting a major deal to end proliferation, to disarm nuclear warheads in Iran in exchange for removing their embargo from nearly 2 decades, since 2015. And with that means that 1.3 million barrels of Iranian oil will be in our circulation internationally by December, 500,000 by April to May. This is huge, and that would bring down gasoline to the lowest price point of a generation. But if you fix gasoline, you have to fix more than that. You have to fix wheat and grain and corn. You also have to fix the banking industry. Vladimir Putin has a major default date coming up. It is April 4th, with $2 billion of principal due for repayment. He's likely not to make it. He made $100 million of interest payments, too, on March 16th. That's easy, a walk in the park. $2 billion? Not going to happen. So this would likely send his economy into a tailspin if it's not already. Remember, Russia was the 10th largest economy in the globe when it invaded Ukraine. Now it's heading to becoming a Cuba. But how does this impact you? Because your national banks here in the United States, your national banks, your federal banks, would potentially have major economic hits if they have exposures to Russian debt and equities, and they do. And we don't know what they will be until potentially next quarter when they report corporate earnings. And boy, you don't want them to have massive economic line item losses on those Q2 or Q3 corporate earnings reports, because guess what? Your local banks will potentially go under. Your local banks will at best become potentially economically unstable. And the federal government will have to come in and do what Joe Biden did day one as vice president. You remember what he did. He came in and saved the banking industry with Obama on day one. There's a very troubling situation across the board. That is why we need 6 stimulus. Finally, a personal message from me to you. Boy, I'm so excited and so proud, and I really want to applaud the membership of this channel and the viewership of this channel, subscribers who have gotten third stimulus MSC checks and fourth stimulus checks. Both subscribers and members have gotten these, and they've gotten them because of a series of reasons. One, they watch the videos every day, and they understand the importance of pounces per block. That expression was created by me over a year ago. What is it referred to? That money comes available, you want to pounce, first come, first serve. You don't want to wait because it's not around forever. So for someone who says, I showed up around 3 weeks later, go, what I miss? Oh, we all got paid. That's what you missed. That's item number one. So I'm so proud of the people who really pounced and got this sums of money. I'm proud of the people who are still pouncing, because you can still get it in most every single state, with the exception of that New York waiting list. I'm also really proud of the membership and the subscribers who really understand that you need to take initiative. And they really have taken the information and learned from it. And I'm really proud of the people who just took my information on this channel and ran and did bigger and bolder, because I had been saying just 2 weeks ago, do 3 to 4 months for these items, and then they did 12 months, 24 months. Now, on the same regard, I know when things are good, and I also know when things need a little bit of tweaking, not twerking. And one of the things that needed twerking was the community page. The community page is now for members only. I'll tell you why. There has been, in the last, I would say maybe a week, astronomical inappropriate conduct, and it's really out of control. And it had to be turned down a notch. And I'll tell you what it was. It was people who were not members acting like they were members when they knew they were not. And then there were people who were jumping the live chats, doing something that I will never tolerate. Trust me, I will never tolerate this. Trash talking the volunteers. I mean, it's just deplorable. These are people that volunteer. They get off of work, they come home, and then they open emails. And these are people trash talking the volunteers. And you know what was actually happening? These were people who were reaching out to the volunteers to tell them to give them something that they were not entitled to, that they were faking as members, that they were caught as faking as members, and then trash talking them in the live chat. Awful, awful. And so it was no longer the place for that. I've seen situations like this over time. Trust me, this channel is now approaching its 2-year anniversary on April 25th, 2022. And when I had EIDL, early on, I did all the help for the EIDL grants and loans myself. Then I had an individual who helped, came in, first person. Then we added a second person. And at one point, we grew to, I think, of maybe 5 or 6 EIDL grant loan helpers. I had a series of people who, at around the time that we had 6 helpers, go from one helper to say, hey, I need help getting that grant. And the person said, what's your business? Because it's a business loan. And the person said, you know what? I don't really have it. I just want the money. Red flag. Red flag. You don't have a business. You're trying to get a business grant. So the person said, I can't help you. And that person went from one helper to another helper to another helper over 5, 6, 7 days. We had other situations at the time. At the time, we also had the private, where you can go in, and we had specific contacts at SBA that would help you get your applications approved, streamlined when they were not being worked on. Sort of like, can you get this going because it's been sitting there for a while? And people would pick up the phone and be belligerent to the people. and suddenly ruin those contacts. The contacts will say, who's this rude person reaching me out to me? We had a short period of time in which we had unemployment assistance, which you could reach out to the unemployment assistant and say, hey, I'm confused. I got approved for PUA, but why have I got to no checks? Because you haven't certified for benefits. Oh, I didn't know how to do. I didn't know about that. Thank you so much. That was what they were there for. And suddenly, people came along saying, "Can you do the application for me and get my unemployment benefits?" There have been times like this over the last 2 years, and sometimes you have to take it back a notch. So for now, the membership is available for now, the community page is available for members. The community page, the link is under the video's description. If you click it, it'll send you to the members community page that you'll see. And if you're not a member, then listen to the videos, because everything you need to know is in the videos. All this channel is about is helping and being kind and considerate. And when people sort of take it to another level, we have to take it back a notch. It's important to understand that when 4 weeks ago this Friday rolled around, the announcement from the White House of these $40,000 these fourth stimulus checks of $15,000 was literally buried in a news article. It was just buried. It was not front page at anything. It was back page, back page, back page. I found it. And if I had not found it, because I've been dealing with this sort of craziness, people trying to fake as members, people harassing volunteers, if I had been dealing with that, I would have missed it. Guess if I had missed that, how much money the viewership of this channel would have lost? Fortunes. Fortunes. Yesterday, I spent almost 5 hours, got 1 hour of sleep because I was dealing with all this madness. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to let my volunteers being harassed like that either. My job is getting people money. And every time that I can't focus on getting people money, I have to deal with people faking personalities and faking things like that. It takes away from the best part of this channel. Tonight, we have a lot coming up, and boy, all the latest details of what happened in Brussels. Oh, I want to see what's happening in Brussels for that 6 stimulus package. We'll be going back over the $15,000 to $80,000 with those states. I'll be revisiting states, and there's new indication of new rental grants programs that have gone live. Yes, very exciting. We have a big broadcast in primetime tonight, and boy, it is a show you don't want to miss. 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's Evenings LALATE, America's most watched show in primetime for financial news. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, keep on advocating, because hashtag Joe make the call. You want Joe to make that call to swap out from COLA to inflation. Stay with me, because you don't want to miss a single day, as we've seen in the last 3 weeks. When programs go live, they go live, but there's not an endless money pit. This is the channel you want to watch. This is the money you want to see. In the case of New York, wasn't live, went live, now on waiting list. You can't miss it by the minute. Stay informed, stay focused, and I'll see you tonight on Evenings LALATE.